Hey fam, let's see if I can set this thing up. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all been? How you been? You been okay? I been okay too. I'm trying to make some room for my stuff over here. Okay, I think I got it. I figured it out. I think I got it. Okay, let me stop playing. Hi y'all, how y'all doing? So, I'm doing okay. I just wanted to come on here and point out something that I saw, something that someone who I like talking to made me realize. I'm sorry, I said I was gonna stop playing, and then I went into another voice. I'm for real though, this time. Okay? My shirt on crooked. Hold on, cause God being good to me. Okay, let me stop. Okay. Hi. So, I wanted to pose a question. Sorry, I just threw this on my head. I wanted to come on here and pose a question. That question is, how close to the eclipse should the first day of the month be? Let's take a look. Usually, that precise moment that the moon is directly in front of the sun, it's invisible. But this month, it is highly anticipated and it will be 100% visible. We will be able to tell when the middle of the night happens. Now, of course, this is going to happen in the middle of the day. That's not what I'm saying at all. When I say middle of the night, I'm talking about a parallel, okay? So, just like with the days, right? We know when the sun rises, the sun sets, that's a day. But there is a period of time, there is a span of time where the night takes place. And for the sake of this argument, we're going to call that a phase, right? So in the middle of that phase, the day changes. We see that example with the Passover. Keep the lamb up until the 14th day at even, kill it, and eat it with unleavened bread when you're done cooking it in the middle of the night. That goes from the 14th into the 15th, right? So if we take the month, right, we can count our weeks, and then we get to the phase, the middle of the night, that usually we cannot see, right? All we know is, hey, the moon is doing its thing. We can't see it during this phase. But since we'll be able to see the phase, how long after the phase do we wait before we call it a new moon? This should be a new moon phase, right? So, almost everybody that keeps the new moon acknowledges first light as the new moon, right? So we're gonna see. Now I don't. For me, from my understanding, from reading Enoch, from reading Genesis, from reading, a lot, understanding the percentages and what we see and all of that, I acknowledge the new moon as that between in that phase between the weeks, right? So the Sabbath, the day that I acknowledge the Sabbath is Sunday for this month, this time period, right? This is the 13th month. Adar 2 is what they call it for, and people probably like, what? 13? No, 12 is the magic number. Actually, it's 13. So there were 12 disciples at that table and Christ, 13. When they spoke about the 12 disciples, they spoke about the 12 disciples and Christ, okay? So we have the 12 months and the 13th every now and then, right? Every 3 years. Well, technically every 4 years, because every 3 years you get 10 days. But that's another story. With the 12 tribes, you had 12 brothers. One of them got split into two, right? Ephraim and Manasseh. When you look at the plots of land, you count Ephraim and Manasseh as 1 and 1, but you don't leave Levi out. So you have 12 plots of land and Levi, 13, right? So in this 13th month, I'm observing Sabbath on Sunday, what the pagans call Sunday, right? And so when the sun goes down on Sunday, that will be the end of the Sabbath, right? For me, since I know it's the last, okay, so I'm gonna address this real quick. All praises. So they inserted the word new moon in the text, but it's not in the Torah at all. Can you tell me what it says in the Torah will be the beginning? Can you tell me what it says in the Torah will be the beginning of our months? So I lost my train of thought. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so for me, because I know it is the last Sabbath of the month, I know what comes next. We go into new moon phase. Until I get the sign that lets me know new moon phase is over, which is first light. No, Abib is the first month of the year. I'm asking what is the sign for the beginning of months for us? For example, the issue with David, when he and Jonathan put together the plan, I'm gonna shoot this arrow, blah 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 blah. They said new moon. What was that? What is that called? Because it was not a bee when this was happening. They were not preparing for Passover. So what is that called? Hello? Hey, cousin. I do. I want to watch both of the games. um, okay. Okay. Um, well, my friend is supposed to drop something off around 4, so I can see if she'll drop me off. That way you don't have to be, All right. Okay. All right, peace. I'm sorry, I had to take that. They would have kept calling me. Okay, yes, I can repeat. So you answered Abib. My question was, what is the sign of the beginning of months for us, not the first month of the year. I understand Abib is the first month of the year, but how do we know the beginning of the month? That was the question. So like I was saying, for me, at the end of the month, after I've kept 4 Sabbaths, because it does say the 7th day is the Sabbath, but it means the 7th day of the week. So yes, there are 4 Sabbaths per month. I've heard somebody say that there's only 1 Sabbath per month, and that is absolutely incorrect according to my understanding. So when I get to that 4th Sabbath of the month, I need to turn this thing off. It's just beeping. When we get to the 4th Sabbath of the month, I know at the end of that, I go into new moon phase. I know I'm not going to be able to see it, even though in the book of Enoch it said once it appears in heaven. No, sir. Okay. Equinox, no. I'm going to get to that. Equinox and equilux. So we know that we cannot see the new moon phase. We cannot see the day that it rises and sets with the sun. So I go into new moon phase until I get the sign of the first day of the week. Because when the sun goes down that night, whatever the moon is doing, it lets us know what we're going to wake up in the morning to, right? So usually we can't see it, but this time we will. We will see the exact moment that the sun and the moon align. And this is the day that is being referenced when it says the sun and the moon set together. Okay, we can read Jubilee. What would you like me to read in Jubilee? So, with people who keep first light as the new moon, you're going to see when the sun and you're going to see the exact day that the sun and the moon rise and set together. You know that is the day they rise and set together because you're going to see that new moon phase. You're going to see the new moon. You're going to see the moon directly in front of the sun. And since it's directly in front of the sun, we know it is at 0.0% of light in it, right? And I'm pulling up Jubilee. Just let me know where Jubilee, let me say book. So with people that keep first light as the new moon, on the 8th, when that moon sets, you're going to have to wait all the way until the 9th when that moon sets. So a whole day after you've seen the sun and the moon together, you know they're setting together. Does that make you question anything? Because if you read Enoch says the day that the sun and the moon rise and set together, it only fills to a half of a 7th portion, that period, right? So between 0.0% and 3.5%. By the time you see the moon on the 9th at even, it's going to be over 3.5%. You're going into the first day of the first week. Start at chapter 6. You will notice if you follow the moon, you will come up with 354 days a year, which is exactly why there's a 13th month every 3 years. We are to follow what Moses said in Jubilee. So are you aware that you need the sun and the moon in order to calculate the calendar? Because Enoch explained, and he went into grave detail. If this many years is this many days, and this many years is this many days. So every year you get a 10-day surplus of the sun ahead of the moon, so to say, right? Um, so I don't understand what your debate is. What your that I don't understand. Book of Jubilee 6. Okay, so it says, so edits and corrections and cross references by the firmament. The Book of Jubilees. And you want me to go to chapter 6? And you want me to read the whole thing? The whole, let's see, how many verses? Okay, it's 36 verses. You want me to read the whole thing? Okay, it says, and at the new moon of the 3rd month, he came out of the ark and built an altar on that hill. So on the new moon, he came out. And he appeared on the earth, and he took a young goat and atoned by its blood for all the guilt of the earth, because everything that had been on it was destroyed except those that were in the ark of Noah. And he placed the fat on the altar, and he took an ox, and a goat and a sheep and young goats and salt and a turtle dove of the young of a dove, and brought a burnt sacrifice upon the altar, and scattered over them fruit offerings baked in oil, and sprinkled the blood in wine, and placed upon it frankincense. And a sweet savor arose, which was accountable before the Lord. And the Lord smelt the sweet savor. Start at verse 20. Okay, shalom, family. Peace and blessings, beloved. I really want to read into it, because right now we see he came out on the new moon, right? And I know we're going to get, I want to read into it. I'll read a little faster. Okay, let's see. And the Lord smelled the sweet savor, and he made with him a covenant that there should no more be a flood upon the earth, which will destroy the earth all the days of the earth. Seed and harvest shall not cease. Frost and heat and summer and winter and day and night shall not change their order, and shall not cease forever. And you grow and increase on the earth, and increase over it, and be for a blessing in the midst. Your fear and your terror I will put upon everything that is on the earth and in the sea. And behold, and behold, I have given you all the animals and all the beasts and everything that flies and everything that moves on the earth, and the fish in the waters, and all these things, and all things for food, like the herbs of grass. I have given them all to you to eat. Only flesh which is in its life with blood shall ye not eat. For the blood is the soul of the flesh, so that your blood is your soul. Be not demanded of you. From the hands of each one I demand the blood of a man. Every one that shed the blood of a man, by the hand of a man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God did he create Adam. But you grow and increase upon the earth. And Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that is in any flesh. And they made a covenant before the Lord forever, in all the generations of the world, in this month. On this account he spoke to you, that you should make a covenant with the children of Israel in this month upon the mountain. And with an oath you should sprinkle blood over them, on account of all the words of the covenant which the Lord hath made with them for all days. And this testimony is written concerning you, that you observe it in all days, that you do not in all days eat any blood of animals and birds and beasts in all the days of the earth. And the man who eats the blood of an animal or of beasts or of birds in all the days of the earth, he and his seed shall be rooted out of the land. And you command the children of Israel that they shall not eat any blood, so that their names and their seed may be before the Lord our God all the days. And for this law there is no limit of days, for it is for eternity, and they shall observe it to generations and generations. so that they may continue supplication in their behalf with blood before the Lord on the altar on each day and day, mornings and evening. They shall supplicate in their behalf perpetually before the Lord, that they may observe this and not be rooted out. And he gave Noah and his sons a sign that there should not again be a doge over the earth. And he placed his bow in the clouds as a sign of the eternal covenant, that no water of the doge shall again come over the earth to destroy it in all the days of the earth. On this account it is ordained and written on the tablets of heaven that the celebration of the festivals of weeks should be in this month, once a year, for a renewed covenant in each year and year. And during the time this festival, which being celebrated in heaven, from the days of creation to the days of Noah, it was 26 jubilees and 5 weeks of years. And Noah and his son observed it 7 jubilees and 1 week of years until the time when Noah died. But his children violated it until the days of Abraham, and they ate blood. But Abraham only observed it, and Isaac and Jacob observed it. And these are his children up to your day. And in your day the children of Israel forgot it until I renewed it for them on this mountain. And you command the children of Israel that they shall observe this festival in all their generations as a commandment for them. 1 day in the year, in this month, they shall celebrate this festival. For it is the festival of weeks, and it is a festival of first fruits. For this festival is of a double nature and double kind, and is written and engraved concerning its celebration. For I have written it in, okay, so this is where you said go, 20. I'm paying attention. Let me see, anybody else say anything? Okay, so this is verse 20 where you said to start. For I have written it, I'm going to slow down. For I have written it in the books of the first law, in which I write to you, that you should observe it in its time 1 day a year. And I have explained to you the offerings on that day, that they should be remembered, and that the children of Israel should celebrate it 1 day in each year. And at the new moon of the first month, and in the new moon of the 4th month, and in the new moon of the 7th month, and in the new moon of the 10th month, are the days of remembrance, and the days of the festivals in the 4 divisions of the years. Written and ordained, they are for a testimony until eternity. And Noah ordained them for himself as festivals for future generations, for on them there was to him a remembrance. At the new moon of the 1st month, it was said to him that he should make for him an ark, and on it the earth became dry. And he opened the earth, and he opened, in parentheses, the ark, and saw the earth. And on the new moon of the 4th month, the month of the floodgates of heaven were opened, and the waters began to descend into the depths beneath. And at the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains appeared, and Noah became glad. And on this account he ordained them as festivals of remembrance unto himself unto eternity. And thus they are ordained. And they were raised into the tablets of heaven, 13 Sabbaths to each, from one to another their remembrance, from the first to the second, from the second to the third, from the third to the fourth. How far do you want me to keep going? And all the days of this commandment are 52 Sabbaths of days, and the whole year is completed. Thus it is engraved and ordained in the tablets of heaven that there is no transgression from 1 year to another. And you command the children of Israel that they should observe the years in this number, 364 days, and the year should be complete, and the fixed date of their days and their festivals shall not be corrupted. For everything transpires in them according to their testimony, and they, in parentheses, Israel, shall not miss a day or corrupt a festival. But if they do transgress and do not observe them according to his commandment, then will be corrupted all their fixed dates, and the years will waver in consequence, and also their times and their years, and they will transgress their ordinances. And all the children of Israel who forgot and will not find the path of the years, and will forget the new moon and the Sabbaths and the festivals, and in all the order of the years they will err. You want me to keep going? Now the word new moon is an insert. It should say new month. No, it shouldn't. Keep going. See 52 Sabbaths, 3. Okay, so I don't understand what point you're trying to make, because we already know that the sun is ahead of the moon by 10 days. Every year, the moon falls behind 10 days. If you're counting the days of the sun and counting the days of the moon, which is why you have the 13th month after 3 years, because that's 10, 20, 30. That's 30 days. That's a whole month. You catch up, you get back on track. So I can't see why you would justify changing where it says new moon to month, because they were clear when they said on the 4th month. Keep reading. Okay, I'll keep reading. 33. For I know, and from now on I shall make it known to you, and not from my heart, but thus is written in a book before me, and is ordained in the tablets of heaven, the division of days, that they forget not the festivals of my covenant, and walk according to the festivals of the Gentiles, heathen, after their errors and after their ignorance, which will be the Gregorian calendar. And they will be those who will make observations of the moon. For this one, the moon, corrupts the stated times, and comes out earlier each year by 10 days, which is why you need both the sun and the moon, right? It says, and in the way they will corrupt the years, and will observe a wrong day as the day of testimony, and a corrupted festival day. And everyone will mix holy days with unclean ones, and unclean with holy. For they will err as to months and Sabbaths and festivals and jubilees. And on this account I command you and testify to you that you shall testify to them. For after your death your children will corrupt, so that they make a year only 364 days. And on this account they will err as to new moons and Sabbaths and fixed times and festivals, and will eat blood and all kinds of flesh. All praises. That's what I'm saying. The new moon is a sign of the new month. The calendar is in the sky. He put it there because, like it says right here, we gonna corrupt ourselves based off of the Gentiles and the heathen. They have a whole calendar. How many Israelites have created a whole calendar and made up names of dates and days and months, and decided this month has 30 days, this month has 31 days? The Gentile did that. The heathen did that. It says we will err. If you only use the moon, you will absolutely err, because it clearly says right here, I'm gonna read it again. And there will be those who will make observations of the moon. It didn't say the moon and the sun together. This is just the moon. For this one corrupts the stated times, and comes out earlier each year by 10 days. So if you only go by the moon, you're going to be off 10 days every year. If you never account for that 13th, which I mentioned all the connections, and parallels with the 13th, then you will corrupt the times. You'll be keeping the feast days in the wrong season. Your new moons is here. New moons is clearly clumped with Sabbaths. So it says they will err as to new moons and Sabbaths, fixed times and festivals. So we can't say that they inserted new moon and everywhere they have new moon, it should say month. That wouldn't make sense. And on this account, they will err as to new months and Sabbaths and fixed times and festivals. And no, when they mention in the first month, in the second month, in the 10th month, they meant month. When they said new moon, they mean new moon. Okay, right. And 354 days is the cycle of the moon. So you have to use the sun and the moon. Now, you mentioned equinox earlier. So let me go ahead and mention equinox, because this is how we make sure we're on track with God's timing. Remember, he set this thing up so that we would be dependent on him. We have to look in the sky for the signs. The signs let us know, okay, it's a new month. Okay, it's a Sabbath. Okay, it's a feast day. Okay, it's a new year. The equinox. The equinox and the equilux. Okay, so this happens twice a year. I'm going to let equinox... This is a gem called the equinox. Equinox, I'm going to say what is. So the equinox, it says a solar equinox is a moment in time when the sun crosses the Earth's equator, which is to say, appears directly above the equator rather than north or south of the equator. On the day of the equinox, the sun appears to rise due east and set due west, and occurs twice a year around. Okay, they didn't give me what I wanted. The equinox, this is the day that on your little time dial, if you create a time dial, you will have no shadow on it when the sun is at the high point, because this is the break-even point, right? So typically the sun, the day portion is not just 12 hours. Let's see. How long is a day? Let's see. How long is a day? So it depends on the day. This day is 23 hours and 59 minutes. Let me see. I'm going to say look up length of day in the past. Oh, they want me to go day by day. I just wanted a list. I know there's a list. Let me see. See, this is the sundial that I'm talking about. I don't know if y'all can see it real well. So let me see. Are there always 12 hours in a day? Okay, so here it says, during the winter, daytime lasts shorter than 12 hours. During the summer, it lasts longer than 12 hours. So on the day of the equinox and the equilux, the days are exact. There are exactly 12 hours in the day and exactly 12 hours in the night. This is another sign. We have to wait until this sign happens. When that sign happens, we know we're at either the exact middle of the year or we are at the exact end of the year. The equinox is the middle, the equilux is the end. Yes, I use the sun, the moon, and the stars. Last Passover was April 5th. This Passover was March 21st. Where did my 10 days go? So, I don't know how you're counting, but the equilux, let's see what day that was. When is the equilux 2024? It said equinox. I said equilux. So let me change that. So While the 2024 vernal equinox falls on, and that's also another word for equilux. This one says equilux, but I'll keep reading here. It says it fell on March 19th. Meteorological spring began at the start of the month. According to NASA, we can't believe nothing they say. So let's go time and day. Okay, so twice a year, day and night reach a perfect balance of 12 hours each, creating a little known event called the equilux. The equilux, I'm looking for the date. Let me see. They don't do that. I would probably have to read it to get the date, but you're missing your 10 days because you didn't wait for the equilux. You didn't wait for that perfect day and perfect night of 12 hours each. Your sundial never hit that spot where it casted no shadow. That's why your Passover was too early, because the new year, what I'm observing, is the world is going to be observing. Just like everybody stands around and waits for midnight to bring in the new year on New Year's Eve, well, on New Year's Eve, the world is going to be watching the sun and the moon hit midnight. They're going to hit that bam where they're aligned, and now we're going into the new year. So the eclipse marks the first new moon of this year. That when that sun and moon go down in the morning, we wake up, it's the first day of the year, the first day of Abib. So the 14th day is going to be the 22nd at even. I'm sorry, the 14th day is the 22nd at even. On the 22nd is when I'll be taking my Passover and then going right into the 15th day, which is the Sabbath, and of course, you know, the first day of unleavened bread. So, what are we looking for in Jubilee 2? Because I'll read it, but I didn't see any points that you made that were legit in Jubilee 6. But I'll go ahead and pull it up. Let me go back. Go back to Jubilee. And this time, instead of reading through it, I'll just read through it if I need to. But tell me where in Jubilee chapter 2 you want me to read. Because I don't know if you agree with the points that I made about what I saw in Jubilee 6. But let me go. I'm going to Jubilee 2. I'm there. Start from the top. Okay. And the angel of the face, you want me to read fast or slow? And the angel of the face spoke to Moses by the command of the Lord, saying, write all these words of creation, how in 6 days the Lord God finished all the works which he created, and rested on the 7th day, and sanctified it for all the years, and established it as a sign for all his works. For on the first day he created the heavens above, and the earth, and the waters, and all the spirits that serve before him. And the angels of the face, if I'm not mistaken, the equinox marks the new year. It definitely marks the new year for me. As I mentioned before, I'll be keeping Sabbath on the 7th. So when the sun goes down on that Sunday, I'm going into new moon phase. And I'm going to actually see when the sun and the moon align while I'm in new moon phase. And I'm going to remain in new moon phase until I see the first sign of the first day of the week, which for me is first light. So yes, The eclipse marks the new year. When that sun goes down, after we see that alignment, we know, yeah, the next day, that's the day of the new moon. We'll be seeing the sun and moon align on new moon eve. Shalom, shalom, King. Hallelujah. Okay, so let me see. The brother asked me to read this, so I'm gonna be obedient. I'm gonna go back to reading this. It says, let's see. Okay, I don't know where I left off, so I'm gonna pick up in the middle where I know I was. It says, and rested on the seventh day and sanctified it for all the years and established it as a sign for all his works. For on the first day he created the heavens above the earth and the waters and all the spirits that serve before him and the angels of the face and the angels that cry holy and the angels of the spirit of fire and the angels of the spirit of wind and the angels of the spirit of the clouds of darkness and of hell and of hoarfrost and the angels of the abysses and of thunder and of lightning and the angels of the spirit of the cold and of heat, of winter and of spring and of fall and of summer and of all the spirits of the multitude of works which are in the heavens and on the earth and in all the depths and of darkness and of light and of dawn and of eve, which he has prepared in the knowledge of his heart. Start at verse 9. Okay, so I'm going to skip down to verse 9. Man, we just skipped some stuff about the sun and the moon, though. You really want me to skip that? I'm going to give it about 10 seconds. Yes or no? You really want me to skip that? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Was I counting too fast? 1. Okay, I'm going to skip it, but I think we should read that. But I'm going to go on and skip it. Verse 9. Go ahead and keep reading. Okay. I'll read fast till we get there. And at that time, we saw his work and praised him and looted before him on the account of all his works. For 7 great things did he make on the first day. And on the second day, he made a firmament between the waters, and the waters divide on this day. And half of it ascended upward, and half of it descended beneath the firmament over the face of the earth. And this work alone was made on the second day. And on the third day, he did as he said to the waters that they would cross from the face of the whole earth to one place, and that dry land should appear. And he made the waters thus, and he said to them, and they gathered from over the face of the earth into one place outside of this firmament, and the dry land appeared. And on that day he created for it the waters, in quotations, the abysses of the sea, according to their separate gathering places, and all the rivers and all the gathering places of the waters in the hills and in all the earth, and all the lakes and all the dew of the earth, and the seed which is sown according to its kind, and everything that is eaten, and the trees which bear fruit, and the wild trees, and the garden of Eden for pleasure, and all these 4 great creatures he made on the third day. Okay, now, and on the fourth day, he made the sun and the moon and stars and placed them in the firmament of heaven, that they should shine over the earth and to rule over day and night, and to divide between night and day and between darkness and light. And God established the sun for a great sign over the earth, and for days, and for Sabbaths, and for months, and for festivals, and for years, and for jubilees, and for all seasons of the years. And he shall divide between light and darkness, and for prosperity, that all things that sprout and grow on earth may prosper. These 3 kinds God made on the 4th day. You want me to keep reading? And on the 5th day, he created the great animals in the abyss of the sea. See that? Yes. What? Okay, what are you pointing out? Because, right, wonderful. This is good. This is amazing. But this is not saying anything different than what I said, what we already know, what the book says, what Genesis says. This still doesn't imply that right. So, okay, let me, exactly, no point. So let me put it like this. The sun, he's set to rule over the days, right? So you have a new moon day, you have a Sabbath day, you have a feast day, you have all of these days, and the sun lets you know when those days begin and when those days end. When the sun is even with the horizon, it's already light. It's already light because the sun, okay, when God created the light, he already divided it from darkness. So it was already light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. First day, second day, third day. He put the sun, the moon, and the stars there to be signs for us. So the sun is to be a ruler over something that already existed. That's like they created this chapstick and gave it to me and said, okay, you give it to whoever needs some chapstick. It was already created though. I am just ruling over it, right? So he said the sun is to rule over the day and the moon is to rule over the night. We don't have a feast night. We don't have a feast night. The feast night, the eve of, is before the day. Like it's connected to that, but it's that phase period that is a part of it, but it doesn't count as it, right? Just like your work day. We're supposed to work in the daytime. We can see that in the book. But that nighttime, it still counts. It's still a part of that day. Now the moon, he said, the new moon is the beginning of your months. And it doesn't say anywhere that the sun is going to rule your months. I'm going to go back. I'm going to read it again. Oh, you scared me. Girl, you scared me because I know everybody that's supposed to be in here is in here. It's going different than I planned. I probably should have went live earlier. Hey, you going by your house? Hey? I know. I was going to see if I could ride with you to your house so I could walk to my cousin's house. Oh, snaps. And I already turned down my ride. Okay, I'll figure it out. It's okay. All right. Bye. Oh, yeah, can I Zelle it or Cash App it to you? Okay. All right, bye. I'm so sorry, y'all. Show me where he says new moon is the beginning of months in the law of Moses. How am I supposed to do that? If you only follow the laws of Moses, you just gonna be short on some things. You're gonna be missing some things, right? I can't do that. I don't know if anybody else can, but I don't think I can do that. Let me think. Okay. Read in Jubilee, about the new moon. Didn't that deal with Moses? Hello? No, I'm on live. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question then, because it sounds like you probably move off of the Gregorian calendar. How do you determine numbers 10 and 10? Thank you. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go right there right now. I'm gonna go there, but I'm gonna grab my fruit real quick, if you don't mind, because I'm hungry. And this is how I eat this is my dinner. Okay, sorry. It's good, y'all. Y'all don't know nothing about this. That's that California stuff. Okay, numbers 10 and 10. Wait. Numbers 10 and 10 and 28. Numbers 10 and 10 says, hallelujah. Hallelujah. It says, also in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginnings of your months, ye shall blow with the trumpet over your burnt offerings, and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be for you, that they may be to you for a memorial before God. I am the Lord your God. And then verse 28 says, thus were the journeyings of the children of Israel according to their armies. Wait, did you mean 28? Oh, 28:11. Sorry, let me go there. 28:11 says, and in the beginnings of your months you shall offer a burnt offering unto the Lord, 2 young bullocks and 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year without spot, and 3/10 deals of flour for a meat offering mingled with oil for 1 bullock, and 2/10 deals of flour for a meat offering mingled with oil, and 1 ram. And then it continues. So we know that, let me keep reading. And a several 10th deal of flour mingled with oil for a meat offering with 1 lamb, for a burnt offering for a sweet savor, a sacrifice made by fire unto the Lord. And their drink offerings shall be half of a hin of wine unto a bullock, and a third part of a hin unto a ram, and a fourth part of an hin unto a lamb. This is the burnt offering of every month throughout the months of the year. And a kid of the goats for a sin offering unto the Lord shall be offered besides the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. So this absolutely did start with the beginning of your months. So if we're supposed to be doing this every month at the beginning of the month, and God being as meticulous as he is, I know he gave us a sign to know when the beginning of that month is. So hopefully that answers the question. Let me see. I'm about to see something. New moon. Numbers 29:6. Yeah, I don't see it there either. But let me keep reading. Yes, I agree, Brother Joel. New moon is definitely the first day of the month, no doubt about that. Question, Brother Arad, sorry, no disrespect, man, I really just, have trouble with names sometimes, but I'm getting better. How do you find your feast days? Just, like a real serious question. How do you find all praises? Understood. So the way we find our feast days has nothing to do with the Gregorian calendar. I just want you to go into detail. The sun, moon, and the stars is not good enough for me. Because how do I know today is not Passover? How do I know when Passover is? We use the moon, the sun, and the stars. The stars align. That equinox takes place. We have 12 perfect hours in a day, 12 perfect hours in a night. The sundials, the timepieces, cast no shadow. They don't cast a shadow 2 days out of the year. That's the equinox and the equilux. The very next new moon is the first new moon of the year. the day following the date that the sun and moon align with each other and set together, let us know that's the day of the new moon. And the first light is the sign that you get up in the morning and you go to work. The new moon phase is over. So yeah, and astrology will get you in trouble. Astrology deals with divination, and the Bible says you might as well bear with them in their punishment if you are dealing with anything that is dealing with divination. So that's not good. Astronomy, however, is completely different. Astronomy is what our forefathers, they understood things that we don't even understand. They had knowledge of Orion's belt and Mizra, the something like that. I don't even know. I have to read it. I can't even remember the word. But that's the difference. They only use the sun, the moon, and the stars to understand time, not anything else. We just read what Moses said. Okay, so I believe you may be one of those people who don't believe Christ, don't believe in, a second coming, an ending into a new beginning, change of ages, any of that. I wonder, do you believe in any of that? Because for me, that is absolutely, Moses is, he does provide the foundation. He got the words straight from the horse's mouth. All praises. I apologize for putting that on you then. I do apologize. How do you believe in Jesus if you don't go past the first 5 books? I'm sorry. I need to get back on track. I need to get back focused. So the question is, how far away should the new moon day be from the time that the sun and the moon align? If you read Enoch, yes, we do what Moses said. If we look at Enoch, he explains that the day the sun and the moon set together, the day it appears in heaven. Now, typically we cannot see when this happens. We cannot see when it appears, right? We just have to go off of assumption and looking for those signs. Are you okay? Okay. But we'll be able to see it. We will know the exact time that the sun and the moon are perfectly aligned. We're going to see. It's going to look like an eyeball looking back at us, right? So for people who are keeping the first light as the new moon, you will be well over 24 hours past the time that the sun and the moon aligned together. Does that worry you? Does that worry you? Me, personally, the way that I understand it, I will be in the new moon phase when the sun and the moon align together. I will already be in the new moon phase, and I will be acknowledging, observing the new moon the very next morning. Because when the sun goes down, the sun is going to align with the moon, and then the sun is going to go down. When that sun comes back up, I'm like, hey, happy new moon. It's new moon day. It's the day we observe the new moon. And then when that sun goes down again, y'all going to see first light, and you're going to say it's new moon day. And then if you do that, so in the timing, the way I understand it, if you follow that, when you get to Passover, it does this every single year. Every year it does this. you're going to look up in the sky and it's going to look like a full moon on the 14th. You're going to look up in the sky and it's going to look like a full moon on the 15th. And then you're going to look up in the sky and it's going to look like a full moon on the 16th. This is an extremely elongated period of time that the moon will be at 99%. It'll be 99.5 on the 14th. It'll be at 99.9 on the 15th. And it'll be at 99.4 on the 16th. Now, if we put this into Gregorian dates, 99.5 on the 22nd, 99.9 on the 23rd, and 99.4 on the 24th. So if you are keeping it a day after, if you're well over 24 hours, by the time you start keeping Passover, the peak of the new moon has already occurred and it's going down. Now, if this cycle was the same when the children of Israel were leaving Egypt, that means on the 14th, when they getting stuff ready, the moon booming is up there full looking. I mean, it hasn't reached its peak. It hasn't hit that 100%, but it's booming. So whatever effects it has on the water has already begun. And then all the day of the Passover, all the day of the first day of unleavened bread, all praises. Praise God. It's at that 100%. It hit that peak. So whatever the waters are doing, it's really doing it now because it's 24 hours of this. And then you still have a whole nother day where it's at that 99%. So that gives time for Moses to come and say, bam, split. And psh, it's split. Like, because God said, of course, but we have to remember, God speaks it and then science keeps up with it. A lot of people try to bury the Big Bang Theory. I don't. I just give credit to God. God. Hello, I'm in the middle of a live. As soon as it's over, I'm gonna make my way over there because I do want to watch the game. I know it's not gonna wait for me, but I need to finish this live. Hello? Okay. Okay. All right. Bye. So God said, let there be light. Bang! What's going on? I never get phone calls like this. Like everybody and their mama and daddy and everybody calling me. Like, no. So God said, let the grass grow. Bang! The grass grew. Like, so God speaks it, and then science, and then what we can see takes place, right? So God put all of this stuff in motion before it needed to happen for that reason. I believe God allows this cycle to do this every year so that we know, okay, this one is the peak day. This one must be the 15th. Like, because it's not leading up to it, and we definitely don't want it when it's coming down. We want it when it's full, that peak day. Please count how many days you have in your calendar, please. Okay, so the Lord determines how many days are on the calendar and in each month. No matter how the days fall in the month, at the end of the year, if you're counting the moon, you end up with 354 days. If you're counting the sun, you end up with 364 days, which is why every 3 years you have to have that sign to let us know if there's a 12th month or a 13th month. Well, it's the same thing for the months. Every month you have to have that sign to let us know, is it 29 days or is it 30 days? Because if you do the calculations, The cycle of the moon is 29 and a half days. We don't have any half days anywhere. So the Lord determines this month is 29, this month is 30. You can try to predict it, and you're going to end up being off. It's going to, I tried it. You're going to be on point. This month going to be 29, that month going to be 30. Then it's going to be 29 again. Then it's going to be 30. Then it's going to be 29, and it's going to be 29 2 times in a row. Then it's going to be 30, and you're going to be off. Because we cannot lean on our own understanding. We have to rely on God when it comes to time. We just have to. And God is not bound by time. We're not even bound by time. Under this curse, we're bound by time, but we are God's. We are eternal. We are everlasting. We are forever. So the only reason we're bound by time is because Adam messed up. When Adam was created, his time didn't start. God wasn't counting his days. He said, no, the day you eat this, the day you disobey me, is the day I'm going to start your count. And you will have 1 day to live. 1,000 years. That's your max. Right? But we weren't bound by time. So time is something that we don't understand. We try and we get really close to it, but at the end of the day, we have to rely on God to let us know, which is why in Genesis 1:14, the first thing that he said, it says for signs. It's for signs, for you to keep track of your seasons, your days, and your years. So, Moses was absolutely right when he said 364 days, because I don't go by the moon only. He said the luminaries. He said the lights in the firmament. He didn't say just this light. When we read in Jubilee, it said the sun. The sun is in charge of all of this. But no, he created a system. The system is in charge of all of this. Let me see you tell time with just the hour hand. You can't. You can have an idea. It's in the 9th hour. I don't know what time it is, but it's somewhere in there. No, you need all bits and pieces. Now, you don't need the second hand to tell the hours or the minutes. Just like you don't need the stars to tell the days and the months. You need the second hand to tell the seconds. You need the stars to tell the years. Like that, that is that. But I just wanted to pose that question. And I'm sorry, I'm hungry. So, if anybody want to answer that question, I shouldn't have done that because now my mouth water. It's good. Coconut. When you add a 13th month, when you add a 13th disciple, you can't divide equally. Right? Was Christ a disciple? When you add a 13th tribe, like Benjamin and, not Benjamin, Lord have mercy, like Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh, you can't divide equally, right? But that 13 is a part of that 12. Ephraim and Manasseh are split, but they're together. That 12th and that 13th month is split, but it's together. You can't ask me. I didn't make it up. I can't. You can't ask me. We read, if you go off of the moon, you're going to be off because the moon is 10 days early. You include the sun in that, and you get right back on track. If anybody doesn't know the 12 tribes of Israel, then they gonna read how the land was split, and they gonna think that Ephraim and Manasseh should be in Joseph's spot. But no, they don't belong there. I can't answer things that are above my pay grade. That's above my pay grade. All I understand is what he helped me to understand, and it's a 13th month. sometimes. It was 13 people at that table. It was 13 people going around healing people. I mean, it was more than that, but 12 disciples plus one. It was 12 plots of land plus a tribe. So, I mean, why did he do that? I don't know. All I know is if you don't add that 13th month, keep on doing your feast like you're doing it. And in about how many years was it? Was it 6 years? I don't remember. But let some years go by. You're gonna be keeping Passover in the snow. It's just the way it is. Do a calendar. Do a calendar. I don't even know walking calendar, bro. I can't. I can't. I love you. But I can't entertain this anymore. Because now we've been ridiculous. With all due respect. How am I a walking calendar? Make it make sense or not. I'm going to leave it alone. I posed my question. I explained my standpoint, what I understand. We read some book. That part. And that's it. So for me, when the eclipse takes place, that is ending the last day of the year. When that sun goes down, it is going down on the last day of the year. And when that sun comes up, I'm going to be saying Happy New Moon. It's the first day of the year. Hallelujah. And I'm going to start my count from there. And my first day of unleavened bread, my Passover, is going to fall on the peak of the full moon. Not on the decline of it. And I will not be taking my Passover at the end of the 13th day, the beginning of the 14th day, because that's not how God told us to do it. If that was the case, they would have been taking the Passover when Christ was being crucified. Because we did the math there, we put the calendar out, and he was absolutely killed on the 13th day of the month. That's why, go back and read it. You will never see them say preparation day until after he died. When it got even, they said, oh, it's the preparation day. We got to start prepping tonight. Will you let me explain to you? Yes, you want to come on live with me? I will absolutely let you explain. I want to understand. I got some questions for you. And, all right, let's go. Let's bring you on. Huh. Why can't I add you? All viewers to request to join you on video. Okay, let's search for you. Are we not friends or something? Well, I can't, and I'm being told, don't do it. So, all right, well, all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High God. I'm taking heed. That's not just the first time. Taking heed to the warning. All praise, glory, and honor to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, a.k.a. Israel. Okay, got you. And with that being said, hopefully I did what I planned on doing. I know it went a lot of places, but hopefully the things that I was praying to point out, I did point out. And it was a dark moon on March 9th through 11th. That makes the end of the month, April 8th, on the eclipse. I think the equinox was on like the 19th. I was trying to pull it up to be sure, because I did my homework on it before, but I didn't write it down. I just wanted to know, you know, is this the last day of the year or is there a 13th month? And the equinox fell after the last new moon. So I'm not 100% sure about the 9th through the 11th. That makes the end of the month, April 8th, on the eclipse. Um, so yeah, it does make the end of the month um, the 8th, and for me, the end of the year, the 8th as well. Um, so I'm gonna go because my fruit is calling me, and I'm hungry, y'all. So, peace.